everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And to this fun video, we'll see on how I learned Spanish. I know you must be thinking, why this video? Well, actually it's more of a prequel to the upcoming videos on my trips or other travel diaries for Panama and Costa Rica. So just to make a base for you, I was selected for two projects, international projects, when I was working in my ex-company Aptech, where we had to set up centers of excellence in information technology for two countries, Panama and Costa Rica, which are Spanish-speaking countries. So the first shock that I got was that I will have to learn Español, as in Spanish. But that was not the biggest shock. The biggest shock was we had to go to Panama in less than 2 months. And there was so much to do. Packing, deciding what to do with the house, because I live alone over here, and I had to decide what to do with it because I was gonna go for 6 months or so, or was it 3 months? Yeah. And what to do, like shut it down, this, that and the other. And on top of that, planning, the finances, and also understanding the culture of that place and understanding the cost of living over there. And then on top of that, a new language. So, well, my company was kind enough to at least give us some background of that language. Like, we had somebody in the company who knew a little bit of Spanish, and she kindly guided us through the alphabets and the numbers, and I think the time, and like how to identify the time and how to identify currency also, I think. But anyway, me being me, that was not enough. I had to understand the actual language and how I'm going to use it. And more than that, so whenever I have to do anything new, okay, I always go back in my old days of the project development lifecycle or software development lifecycle that we used to do, in which the first stage is requirement analysis. Like you analyze, okay, need analysis, why do you need to do this, okay, and then, well, the second thing is what all things you will need to do this. Third is by when you have to do this, and then finally how are you going to do this, with the what and when you have in your hand, that is the tools and the time that you have in your hands. So I just went back to those days and I was like, why do I need to learn Spanish? Because the place where I'm going is a Spanish-speaking country. Majority of people talk in Spanish. Number two, what can I do to learn this language? So obviously the first one was to get into a training class, like, okay, but we didn't have time for that. Go for tutorials, YouTube is there, so many books are there. And then thirdly is like, go there and then see what happens. And then third was obviously when, like by when I have to do this. I have a month and a half in my hands to understand this language, which is not enough. At this age, like when I say I went in 2015, yes. I went in 2015 when I was 25 years old. No, sorry. I was 35 years old in 2015. So, I mean, learning a new language at 35 is no piece of cake. So I had so many hurdles, but yes, me being me, I love challenges, so I decided to take up the challenge. And I thought, I started learning. So first thing I learned was the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So it's also based on the Latin alphabet, just like English. There's only one extra letter, the N, with a tilde, which is called NA. And I'm like, wow. And then I came to the vowels. So in English, it's A, E, I, O, U. And in Espanol, it's A, E, I, O, U. Do you get what I'm saying? A is A, E is A, I is E, O is O, and U is U. And that's the tilde letter, which is an extra letter to give an NA. It is only on N. It was, I think, removed from other letters. It's only on N to pronounce NA, like in Español. And then there's the other like letter, like an apostrophe on top of a letter. You can see here on A. So when you have to do emphasis A and A, E and E. I can't say it this way. O and O, U and O. So U and U. So that's like you have to emphasis. That's when you use this. Okay, just try and understand. You can understand how confused I was from all this. And then the world's biggest confusion comes now. So first of all, H is silent. So like H-O-L-A is not hola, it's ola. J is H. So if your name is J-O-S-E, Jos, it's not Jos, it's Jose. Because E is A, okay, and J is H, so Jose. And then Y is E, E as in and. Okay, so whenever you have to say you and I, so you will say tu, E, yo, okay, means me. And then double L is J. It's not even J, it's J or Ye, depending on what you're saying. So, for example, if you read B-E-L-L-A, Bella, it's not Bella, it's Beja, Beja. If you're saying like C-E, you know, B-O-L-L-A, then it's not Cebola, it's Cebolla, Cebolla. And then what was the other one? V is B. So if your name is Victor, it's not pronounced as Victor, it's Victor. Like V-I-C-T-O-R, when we used O in English like this, we use, if I say Victor, I don't say Victor, I say Victor. O becomes A. But in Spanish, O remains O and V remains V. So Victor is Victor. Moving forward, I digested all that. All these things I digested and I was like, wow, what can go worse? So we go to numbers. Okay, we are done with alphabets, the basic things. Now we go to numbers. So numbers, guys, I tell you, I literally by hearted those numbers like a kid from first grade. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, like that. So it was fun initially, but then I was like, there were certain numbers that just boggled me like anything. For example, for every number it's fine, but when you go to 5, so 5 is cinco, 15 is quince, then 25 is 25, 35, 35, 45, and then when you come to 50, it's 50, and then 55 is 55, and then 500 is 500. Oh my god, I have never seen so many versions of one number being pronounced in different ways in every single numerical series. I was completely confused. I was like, how the hell will I ever tell them what I want in terms of numbers if I don't remember the difference between cinco and quince? Like if I had to say 5, I have to remember it's cinco. Now I remember very well, but initially it was too much. Anyway, moving forward, there is another layer to this, you know, mind-boggling, you know, numerical series confusions, and that is the number 6 and 7. And for these two numbers, I'm not even going to be able to say by myself. I will need to see in a notepad to be able to tell you what I'm trying to say. So here we go. So I'm giving you a warning that this whole series of numbers is going to be a complete tongue twister, so don't kill me after hearing this. Just bear with me. So let's start with 6 and 7. So 6 is 6, 7 is 7. Okay, easy. 6, 7. Now we go to 16 and 17. 16 is 16, 17 is 17. Okay, 10 is 10. Okay, and then we go to 60 and 70. 60 is 60 and 70 is 70. And now the worst part, we go to 76 and 67. Okay, no, 66 and 76. 66 is 66, 76 is 76, And then 76 and 77 is 67 and 77. Oh my god, even looking at this, I'm finding it difficult to pronounce and remember these numbers. So this was the biggest tongue twister I have played with myself in my entire life. 60, 70, 70, 70. So this is where I lost my mind. I'm like, I cannot learn this language in this way if I keep memorizing things. Like, a language is something you can learn only with, you know, real life practice with someone. Of course, you should know the basics, which I already learned, like numbers and alphabets and some special characters and, you know, everything. Currency. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the currency. So the currency of Panama is Balboa, which is I think coined after the explorer. What was his name? Vasco Nunez de Balboa. Vasco Nunez de Balboa. And that's the currency, and this is the symbol. And the currency of Costa Rica is colones, and I think that was also named after Cristobal. His name was ending with colon, so that's why it's called colones or colon. Colon is the currency, and this is the symbol. Anyway, so these are the currencies of Panama and Costa Rica, and to my very surprise, the second currency that is obviously prevalent and in that country is the US dollar, and surprisingly, one Balboa is equivalent to $1. One Balboa is equivalent to $1, and I was so surprised. And that is the reason why when we were in Panama, we shopped like anything, because things were so cheap. In $1, I was getting $2, $3. I mean, you can understand, multiply by Indian currency. I was getting such amazing stuff over there. And on the contrary, Costa Rica was much more expensive, because there the difference was very high. 500 colones was equal to $1, which is why things were very, very expensive. So if you had to buy $1 thing, you ended up spending 500 colones or more sometimes, depending on the fluctuations. Anyway, enough of that. So these were the currencies, and that also we had to learn all the notes. I can just show you a few examples of the, so these are all the Balboa, and then these are all the colons, so, or colones, you can say however you want. So that's about the currency. But still, I felt that just memorizing things is not gonna kind of help me out, because I have to be, you know, able to practically deal with this. And that's when I thought that instead of just memorizing things, why do I not focus on things I will need over there, right? So need analysis, back to square one. And I thought, what am I going to need there once I reach on the airport? What is the first thing I'm gonna need? And I was like, I'll be needing a cab to a destination, so I should know how to say or how to ask, where can I get a cab, or I need a cab, necesito un taxi. So I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. So I started working on those kind of statements. For example, where is this place? Okay, or where are we going? What time will you reach? Where is the university? Is the university open? What is the time? I need water. You know, so these kind of statements, I'm putting the translations over here so you can understand that this was my thought process, that I need to be able to communicate, and also I should know that when that person is answering, obviously because that person will have an accent, I might not understand. So I should be able to figure out what that person is saying. So I should also have an idea of the responses. Okay, so that came to me like, okay, I should know direction, este, oeste, norte, and sur, east, west, north, and south. But then that's not enough. Whenever you are in a strange country, or even if you are in your own country, you should be able to show some politeness, basic etiquette as we call it. And that obviously was the first thing we should know, is how to say hello, how are you. So it's like Hola, ¿cómo estás? Okay, and then obviously the three magical words, not I love you. Okay, still I'll tell you, I love you is called te amo in Spanish. Just in case you want to wish someone, or say this to someone, you can say in Spanish and impress them. Yeah. Anyway, let's move ahead. So the three magical words that I'm talking about are please, sorry, and thank you. So I learned how to say please, sorry, and thank you. So please is por favor. Remember, por favor. Second is sorry. Sorry is lo siento. And the easiest one, thank you. Gracias. Gracias. Remember, por favor, lo siento, gracias. Another thing that I felt that I needed to know was, what is the name of the different vegetables, fruits, water, milk, okay, all these things, because those are the groceries that I will have to buy. Milk, eggs, bread, all of these things. So if I remember very clearly, bread is called pan, and it's a big joke for us because my assistant, he was a Taiwanese, his name was Felix Lee Pan, so we used to tease him a lot that Felix Lee bread because he was pan. Anyway, and then obviously water was agua and milk was leche, and then of course tomato was tomate, and then potato was papa. It's not papa. Papa, if you say papa, then you're talking about dad. You say papa, then it's potato. And then coriander, cilantro, orange is naranja, apple is manzana, mango is mango, thankfully. And what mangoes we had over there. Yummalicious, big, fat, juicy mangoes. I think 4-5 months in a year we had mangoes, because it was like that kind of environment. I think mostly they only had 2 seasons. They had only the winter season and the rains. Like I think 8 months in a year it was rains, and 4 months was summer, and lots of mangoes. And then if I remember, banana was platano or banano. Either ways, platanos were like the bigger bananas. And then what other things I remember? Carrot was I don't remember. Zanahoria, or was that garlic? No, garlic was ajo. When I say ajo, it's A-J-O, not A-H-O. Ajo. And lemon was limon, and so on. So I learned all of these things, all of these words, so that at least I can tell the seller that, okay, I want a mango, I want a manzana, I want a pepino, pimiento, capsicum is pimiento, and then all the other things. That made me feel so confident, guys. So confident, like now at least I can survive the basic things and do the basic things over there, get the basic things over there, and I know how to deal with these things. And trust me, guys, when I landed over there, it was a piece of cake for me, because I just knew what I had to say and what I had to expect as an answer from the opposite person. So it was fantabulously, phantasmagorically magical. You know, those who are from out of India, you might not know this big phrase, but that is something one of our choreographers, Indian very popular choreographers, Geeta Ma, says when she's super impressed with something. And I just love that phrase. Fantabulously, phantasmagorically magical. And now some fun facts, which were also a cause of major confusion for me, because over there the adjective comes after, you know, the noun. So if, for example, if you have to say beautiful girl, you will say chica bonita, not bonita, chica. Chica is girl, bonita is beautiful, so it's chica bonita. Okay, for example, yellow snake, serpentine amarilla or serpentina amarilla. Amarilla is yellow. Oh, that reminds me of colors. I had also learned the names of colors. Let me remember. So yellow is amarillo, green is verde, not verde, verde. You can see here V is B, and double L is Jo, so amarillo, verde. Red is, I think, rojo. Blue is azul. Well, white is blanco, and black is negro or negra. Then purple was a very nice name. Can't remember. Morado. Purple was called Morado. And then orange was again naranja. Gold and silver, I don't remember. Very weird name, Dorado or Dorado, Platego. I don't remember the names of gold and silver, but these are the colors because they are most common colors. So if I had to, the reason I needed to know colors also is because obviously, let's say for example, I have to tell them that tomorrow you have to wear a white t-shirt, then I have to tell them that por favor, wear a blanco t-shirt tomorrow. And then of course that reminds me of all the days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and yesterday, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. All these things I had to get a hang of so that I can remind them that tomorrow is this, yesterday was that. So all those things I had to also get a hang of, but those were simple things. That was not that difficult. It's very few words. And then other fun fact was the common sounding words. Like I gave you an example of papa and papa. So papa and papa. So when you say papa, softly it's dad, and papa with the, like you see the apostrophe, it means potato. And then perro, perro. I still can't do r very well in Español. So perro and perro. So perro is butt. Perro is butt. Yeah, perro is butt, and perro is dog. Yeah. And then similar such words, porque is because, and por qué. If you say que, the question is why. Okay. And also whenever you are asking a question in like an inquiry statement, then the question mark is an inverted question mark and a forward question. It shows the starting of an inquisitive statement. So for example, if you see over here, donde puedo reservar un taxi, means where can I book a cab, right? So the question tone, it will have question mark on both sides like this. And then there was those miscellaneous words, I don't know what we call them, questions: what, where, when, why, how. Right, so que, por qué, and then como, and aquí is here, allá or al, allá is there, and donde is where. So all these fun words, donde and ella and whatever. Anyway, so this is all the things that I learned and tried to implement when I went there. And over a period of time, like within by the time I reached Costa Rica, like Panama was still okay. There were still people who used to speak. Most of them were able to speak even broken English or understand broken English. But when I went to Costa Rica, like 80% of them were not able to speak English, only Spanish. My students were all Spanish speaking crowd, students that were enrolled. So I had to literally engage interpreters in my class from students who were studying English in the university, and they used to help us as interpreters. So I still remember, like I used to keep practicing with them, and I used to hear, because I was standing there when the guy was translating. Whatever I used to say, he would translate, and whatever they would ask, he would translate. So I used to connect the dots and try to learn Espanol that way. And then one day I really remember very clearly that during a Linux class, so just for information, Linux is an operating system just like Windows, and so I was taking those classes. RHEL6 was the version, and Red Hat Linux 6. Anyway, too much information. What I'm saying is that I was just taking the class, and it was a Saturday class. We always had classes on Saturday, 3 or 4 hours classes, and they used to, after 2 hours, they just used to get bored, and like so many commands, this, that, and they were just going on chatting, not listening to me. So I just, burst out loudly, blah, 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 in Spanish, and they were all like, for 10 seconds, they were like, and they all started clapping. Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Que bueno, que bueno, que bueno, que bueno. I'm like, what did I say? Why are you guys making noise? And my teaching us like, Dhruti, do you realize you just uttered a complete statement in Spanish flawlessly in that excitement. And I was like, really? It was completely right, no mistake. And I was on cloud 9 on that day. That finally I'm able to talk Spanish a little bit, not much. Anyway, so now one last fun thing about Panama. So when we went there, okay, obviously we had to hunt for groceries. So thankfully the place where we were lodged was a prime area, so the petrol pump and bus stand and grocery stores and mall and everything was just next door to us, a walking distance. So there was a huge like grocery store, like the D-Mart kind of store. So there was a huge grocery store, like D-Mart kind of store over there, where we used to go for groceries. The first time when I went, I was just going in, and on the right I saw it's a huge like place, and I just read a huge word from left to right, huge writings, and it was like I could not even read it in one go because there were so many alphabets. It was like, let me break it down. Estacionamientos. I'm like, this is probably the longest word I've ever heard or seen in my life. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? And then I looked around what this could be. So I presumed that it was talking about parking, but I just assumed because there were a lot of parking lots underneath. And at that time I didn't have a card that had internet in it. I was still using my India card. So I'm like, first thing, I just noted down the spelling of that word in my phone. I was like, first thing after I go home, at the hotel, I'm going to see what it means. And true to my word, estacionamientos means parking lots. And I was like, what the hell? Why can't you just say parking lot? Why do you have to write this whole damn, China wall type of word over there? And I saw that is there no other word for parking. So it said parqueo. Very short, 6-letter word, parqueo. I'm like, why couldn't I use that instead of estacionamientos? But I just fell in love with that word, and till today, I haven't forgotten. I mean, I read it first in 2015 November. I think even remember the date somewhere on the 21st or 22nd, or was it 25th November? I don't know. But I still remember the word, and I still remember the situation in which I was. And it just doesn't fail to amaze me to see this kind of things, experience this kind of things in life. Anyway, folks, so this is all from me on how I learned Spanish. I learned Spanish because I had to go to these countries, and what I did, I went through a lot of notes, a lot of videos, and of course I conversed and found shortcuts to identify the things that I need to learn first in order to live a smooth daily life. And then the one part I've still not accomplished. I'm still not complete pro in Spanish. I'm in fact I've gone down one level. I've become to a beginner instead of somebody in the intermediate level. I've gone down, but I'm trying to work on it again because I love Spanish. Actually, I wanted to learn French as an international language. It's very good to know at least 2 international languages. Like English is something we already know, but there are other languages that are more popular in the world, like Spanish, Mandarin, right, French. So I always wanted to learn French, also because it's a romantic language. The words like mademoiselle, monsieur. It's like, how Urdu is very shairana. Likewise, French I find very romantic and soft and everything. It's very, smooth language. So I always wanted to learn French, but I ended up learning Spanish. And they are like, when they talk in Spanish, like para 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 para, and that's all you hear from them. It's so para 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 para, and their tone is very pointed and sharp and like loud when they talk, and they talk very fast. But then we talk in English, they also find that we are talking very fast because they don't know English. Anyway, so it was a fun learning, and I'm still working on it. I want to rejuvenate my knowledge of this language, and I hope I'll do it soon. So thank you for bearing with me, and thank you for sticking around till here, to the last point. And I hope this helps you in learning a new language when you go somewhere sometime or you need it. All right, then I'll take your leave. Thank you so